Had the official description of the tower's structure been accurate and defined the steel-reinforced cast concrete core, the public would have thought, concrete does not bend and melt. How could those towers fall like that? And where are all the big pieces of concrete? The public has seen many collapsed bridges and knows that when concrete collapses, many large pieces of it are visible in the debris. Here is an image of the single large remnant of concrete left intact at Ground Zero. Cameras were confiscated there, and the mayor took the WTC documents from the city offices in December of 2001, and courts will not force their return, showing it was vital that the public not realize there was a concrete core. To the left is an interior box column, the only type columns that actually existed in the towers. To the right of it is the 12-foot thick north wall of the WTC-1 concrete core. Note the rigid coiled steel reinforcing rod protruding from the top of the concrete. This is special 6-inch high tensile steel rebar used in the foundation and extending up through the core base into the bottom core walls. Note the rounded corners of the concrete wall in this later image, which is zoomed in. Note, no core columns are seen penetrating the stairwell or to the right of it where they should be. There were no steel columns in the core. At the World Trade Center, all that was left was sand and gravel. In order for the giant theater or ruse of plane impacts and fire being responsible for the towers coming down, the deception of the core was absolutely necessary. Simple planted explosives cannot be responsible. All theories presented to explain the events at the World Trade Center fail to produce evidence supporting the theories. What is presented here is a true scenario because all evidence is consistent with each theory. Free fall. Huge masses of superfine particulate forming pyroclastic flows, square, sheared columns, the entire contents of the towers pulverized, and finally the heaving of massive segments of the tower for hundreds of feet. Freefall is explained because concrete can be instantly fractured to fall freely with a small amount of high explosives which are properly placed. Steel cannot. Rebar in the center of a wall, which is an engineered explosive container, will create maximum pressures that fracture the wall while also placing enough concrete with intimate contact to the explosive to create masses of very fine particulate that is extremely heated, forming a pyroclastic flow. The square, smooth, sheared columns on the left are the typical column end. On the right, a salvage torch cut, just to show the differences. Bombs or satchel charges will leave very rough ends and require excessive amounts of high explosive to effectively cut heavy wall tube. No such cuts are seen on the ends of Ground Zero steel columns. Uncontained explosive blasts of the size needed to cut heavy steel were not seen, heard, or recorded at the WTC on 9/11.
My God! Holy shit!
What was seen, heard, and recorded were very well contained blasts having a booming or rumbling quality. Optimized cutting charges built into the floors of the towers can do exactly this. The 1990 documentary mentioned tempered steel plates with close tolerances surrounding the interior box columns. Here is a crude diagram of such a built-in optimized cutting charge utilizing tight-fitting gas guide plates. The steel plates are installed over the corrugated steel floors panels with perhaps 1 inch or so of plastic explosive between them. The plates are then encapsulated in the concrete of the floors containing the expanding gases, forming a collapsing high-pressure plane that slices through the tube walls, ejecting dark particulate skyward. Columns cut exactly like this litter Ground Zero. Here is an image of a column ruptured by a malfunctioning or overloaded cutting charge. Photos of explosions ahead of the disintegration of the upper towers show the cutting charges in the floors detonating and cutting the interior box columns. The large pieces of the tower propelled outward from the tower were caused by two aspects. One, failures of detonation systems or explosive circuits in the floors, or the column cutting systems exposed to air, failing to detonate, such as what caused the spire seen earlier, caused large sections to remain connected. Two, Then the webs of 3-foot I-beams against the core walls acted to catch the wave of high-speed blast debris and throw the still connected perimeter box column assemblies, floors, and floor beams out into space for hundreds of feet. This engineered concrete explosive container technology was designed as Cold War self-destruct systems that were implemented in submarine bases and missile silos, and was intended to pulverize all secret technology such as guidance systems and other technological information contained in the installation. The contents of the Twin Towers offices were completely ground up, and groups of people clustered near windows to find relief from smoke were shredded as they were subjected to a 7-mile-per-second blast wave of concrete aggregates and ejected from the buildings in small pieces to land on nearby building roofs. America has a big problem with secrecy.